What up? Today's video is gonna be a full face of Laura Mercier products. Laura Mercier sent me a whole bunch of stuff, which I was very surprised by. Thought they were only sending their tinted moisturizer, so this was great. And I'm really excited to try all of this out. You know, my sort of experience with Laura Mercier historically has been always knowing in the back of my mind that they were a good brand with like really good shade ranges, really good products, just kind of a very reliable brand. You know, their Caviar sticks and their base products were always really, really popular. So I'm excited to kind of step out and try a couple things that I've never heard of before. Now, they did send me like a makeup remover, primer, a couple other things, but I'm just not gonna use those. So I didn't open them and I passed them to a friend that was really interested in them. But I kept all the makeup, of course, so let's put it on my face. So first up, this is their Tinted Moisturizer, Natural Skin Perfector, Broad Spectrum, SPF 30 Sunscreen. I got the shade Vanille 1 and 2, but this ended up being a little bit too dark for me. It looks really fantastic if I blend it down my neck, but then it can kind of get on my clothes, and so I ended up falling so hard in love with this that I purchased the mini one in Cameo, which is a shade lighter and more cool toned. Okay, these are the tinted moisturizers on the back of my hand. As you can see here, Vanille is, you know, more of like a neutral color. On me, it looks a little yellow because I'm so cool toned, but it's definitely a very neutral sort of light shade. And then Cameo, you can see, is a much better match for me. It's got pink undertones and honestly, I've been mixing the two of them. I just got back from a vacation visiting my parents in Florida. Despite my best efforts with a huge ass hat, huge sunglasses, SPF 50 constantly reapplied, I can see that I still got a little bit of color. So I'm probably gonna mix these two today. So I squeezed out 2 dots on the back of my hand and I'm just mixing them a little bit with my finger. And I think that will be the best color match for me today. So since I have been testing out a few of these products, I have fallen so head over heels for this foundation. Oh my goodness. I know it's a tinted moisturizer, natural skin perfector, whatever, but I totally get now why the hype is there. I know that people have been raving about this since like the birth of makeup, it feels like. I don't know if this is a different tinted moisturizer than their OG one that came in like the grayish packaging, but if it is a different formula, it is absolutely fantastic. I just love that it is the perfect coverage for a daytime natural looking base for me. As you can see, it's just starting to beautifully even out my skin tone without looking like makeup. It is like one step up from the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue in terms of coverage, and it's not as dewy. So if you felt like the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue was just a little bit too light in coverage, a little too sheer or a little too dewy, this is amazing. I also like that it's fragrance free. I don't like when foundations have any fragrance because it can be irritating. Okay, loving the skin. I feel like those shades together are a great match. I love that they make mini sizes. And next I have their concealer. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a concealer match for me in the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion line. I purchased this a while back. This is the color 1N, which is a little too light for me. All their other shades are like either too light or too dark and yellow. So not the best match, but I am just gonna do a little bit inside. Frankly, this is not my favorite concealer. In fact, this has been in my declutter drawer for quite some time because I do find that while I used to love this, my skin since moving to the Bay Area has just gotten super dry and it just ends up emphasizing my under eye lines. But when I was living in LA, for whatever reason, my skin was more oily in LA, even though it's further from the water than the Bay Area. Someone tell me why. I don't understand. But what I do is I just try to use less of this only in the areas where I need it. And it seems to be working okay. It's just not my favorite. But in LA, again, it was a perfect concealer for me. I love the flexible applicator. I love the thin, blendable texture. It's just more of like a medium finish, and it's just because I'm here, it just feels a little bit drying. And because I also can't find my best color match, it's just not my favorite. They did not send any brow products, so I'm going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer in Ash Brown. I actually, since I just came back from visiting my parents in Florida, my mom gave this to me. She said it was too dark for her. So I'm going to give it a try today. Okay, so it's a more angled brush, not like the sort of very thin, skinny L'Oreal one I'm used to. I think that's going to be a good match for me though. Ash brown, I do have more cool tone hair and skin. So I think I'm going to make that work. Okay, next up, I'm very excited. They sent me a bronzer, which means I finally now have another powder bronzer except for the Physicians Formula. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like I'm cheating right now. I'm a little uncomfortable. But they sent their Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Bronze 01. Okay, so I don't know if this is a line of bronzers. Hopefully there are a bunch of more shades, but it just says like Matte Radiance Powder. So I'm just gonna, it looks like it's kind of, yeah, it looks like since it's baked, it's pretty powdery. I learned that the hard way with the M Cosmetics baked blushes, that you really need to tap off the excess. So let's just see what that looks like. Oh, good. I like that it's not very dark or pigmented. I do the Mariah Leonard technique of bronzing, which is only bronzing around the outer perimeter of the face. I used to do it everywhere, but Mariah Leonard, aka the Queen, taught me to only do it on my forehead and cheeks, and then maybe a touch on the nose, but avoid the chin, the lower half of the face, and the neck so that it just looks more natural. So I'm just gonna go in with this. So far, I like it. I feel like when I first applied it on my forehead, it looked a little patchy, and I just finished watching a video that Amanda Z did where she said that she felt like powder bronzers were really patchy on her. And I've never experienced that because I've literally only ever used the Physicians Formula bronzer. But I do now understand. I think this is looking like pretty good, but a little patchy. There we go. I only did it on my forehead and cheeks, and already I feel like it's too much because I'm just like so pale. Okay, let's see if we can bring it together a little bit with some blushes. Laura Mercier did not send over any blushes, but I do have two ones that Wander Beauty just launched in their Double Date Lip and Cheek range. This is the shade Be Mine. Wow. These are very balmy sticky, which is kind of the formula I don't love because it's harder to blend like a stickier balmy consistency, but that color, it might be worth it for me. That's beautiful. And then they have, I think what I'm most excited about is the shade Honeymoon. This looks a lot like Tower 28 Power Hour. Yeah, it's kind of like a terracotta rose, which I love. And then on the bottom, they have a balm and a mirror. So I'm going to see, I remember I didn't like this formula with my hands. So I brought out a Wander Beauty brush and like a foundation brush. I'm just going to see what happens if I do it that way. Ooh, it's pretty and it's really juicy. Thumper!
Oh, big dog.
I gotta blend my cheeks because I'm on camera. Bye, Thumper!
Bye, Kate, the state of Kate's people in that her.
Get out of here. I know this is a full face of Laura Mercier, but like they sent me like 8 products. I don't have an actual full face. So next I'm gonna go in with a highlighter. This is the In Beauty Face Glaze in Champagne, and this is some dope ass shit. If you took the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter and you mixed it with like a rich cream on the back of my hand, see how it looks like Charlotte Tilbury, but it feels so moisturizing and so nourishing, and it's like barely even makeup-y. Like there's no shimmer in this. It's incredible. I can put it all over my face as a primer, a glowy primer, and it works gorgeously. You could use this just as your moisturizer. It has squalane. I think it has some brightening ingredients as well and some skin soothers. So it is supposed to be, this face glaze is a skincare makeup hybrid, which I love. And I think it just makes your skin look incredibly well taken care of. Makes you look like you've been drinking your water instead of your cocktails. And that's how I want to look. Because Lord knows, I've been drinking my cocktails. Dude, that is some pretty shit. Also, I think there's only one shade, but I think this is like pretty much invisible. There's no shimmer, and I don't think there's actually any pigment. But if you have dark skin and you've tried this, please let me know if it works for you. They also sent their Caviar stick in Ginger, which is an interesting choice for me. This is not a shade I would ever reach for. It's just like a light cherry blossom pink. I think I'm gonna give this to a friend. I haven't tried it on my eyes, but I can just tell you that I don't reach for light shades on my eyes. Like, yeah, I have so many Caviar sticks. So, but these are the ones that they sent. And I also saw that they sent the same shades to other influencers. So I'm curious if they're doing just like a big promotion with this shade Ginger, because it's not the most like wearable shade I've ever seen. But what I will say is I own so many of these Caviar sticks. They are really beautiful. They are on the more thinner, slippery side of an eye crayon so that they blend so easily and so fast before they set down. If you've tried the nude sticks, they're very different from the nude sticks. The nude sticks come out and there's like grip to them. They immediately feel like thicker and sticky, and that makes them last longer. It makes the color kind of stay in place more. But with these are so thin and like slippery that they are just the most blendable. I'm gonna do my lashes off camera since they didn't send me any mascara. This is definitely not a full face. I'm so sorry. Also, my nails were wet when I started filming this video with the new Olive and June Mega Babe collection. I don't think I have any dings. That's a win. Okay, so I haven't done my lashes yet, but I was just so unhappy with just having such a light matte shadow on my eyes that I added a winged liner, and I think I'm now gonna just add some of the bronzer in the crease of my eyes. Okay, so I'm just taking the powder bronzer, tapping it off. I'm just gonna add a little in the crease. I can't have such a light eyeshadow. It's not me, you know? I just like at least a bronzer, like a glitter topper, something that makes my eyes look a little bit more defined. I'm taking the same brush and I'm just doing a little under the eyes. Taking the Thrive mascara. Okay, so here's where we're at. Bronzer in the crease, Caviar stick and Ginger on the lid, and then I added a little bit of liner to just like make it a little bit more impactful. Next up, they sent a lip liner in the shade Rosewood, and it is interestingly in the same family as Ginger. This is the Ginger Caviar stick here, and then this is the lip liner in Rosewood, as well as the lipstick they sent. Everything is very much like baby pink, baby peach. Okay, nice. That's cute. Luckily, it's not too light. Okay, so right off the bat, this lip liner formula is a standard pencil liner formula, which means it's usually a little bit drier, not quite as like slidey as the ones that are the retractable liners. It doesn't glide on the easiest, like it's more of like the MAC pencil liners, but that means that because it's drier, it's gonna last long. So really, it just depends on what your preferences are for liner. If you prefer a more drier formula that's gonna stay for a long time, or like a formula that slides on, this is definitely on the more drier side of a pencil liner. But their lipstick is the total opposite, and it really took me by surprise. I instantly put this on when I got it, and I'm shocked by this formula. This is their Rouge Essential Silk Cream Lipstick in the shade Nude Prefer, and I'll put it right next to the Caviar stick. Again, another like very light peachy pink, but this formula, oh my goodness, look at that, so slidey. Interestingly enough, you'll know that I prefer my lip products to be thicker so that they don't migrate outside my lip lines. I'm the opposite way with lipsticks. I like thinner lipsticks that like slide on really easily because they're never as drying. So like lip gloss, lip balms, I like them thicker. Lipsticks, I like them thinner. I think this lipstick shade is fun as hell. I would never have purchased this in a million years. Really, really surprised by this. I think it's beautiful and not something I ever would have bought myself. The formula is what I think is absolutely exceptional. This is the product that blew me away the most, the Rouge Essential Silk Cream Lipstick formula. You can see how thin and slippery it is, and like how melty, that I used it just a couple of times and it's already starting to form to my lip shape. It just melts. I did hear that unfortunately they don't have a lot of nude shades, like neutral shades. Hopefully they expand this line to include like a lot more neutrals and a lot more browns. But I'm 1000% gonna look at other shades. I'll probably go to Sephora because this is the best lipstick formula I've ever tried. I can't think of anything else. It feels like I have nothing on my lips. It's so thin. Ugh. Blew me away. Blew me away. Last but not least, they sent me their translucent setting powder. However, I'm not gonna open it. I'm gonna give it to a friend. I know that's being annoying because I'm like supposed to review everything they sent, but I just don't want to be the kind of influencer who opens everything they get in PR once and then never uses it again and like throws it out. I would rather know myself and know my preferences and send unopened products to people that are going to love them and appreciate them. So my skin is just too dry for powder. I can't use it. So I don't want to waste this. I know that this is a great product. I had used it for my entire life in high school and college when I had really oily skin, and it's beautiful. It doesn't look too cakey, but I'm just not a powder person anymore. So I will be passing this to a friend. I'm obviously not very happy with this shade that they sent, the ginger shade. It's beautiful. I mean, I think a lot of people could really love it, but I just don't wear matte light shades. So these are all the Caviar sticks that I've bought, and I'm gonna swatch them for you. First up, this is the shade Caramel, which is a favorite for me. It is an earthy medium brown. It's got a little bit, I would say it's more of like a yellow brown. It is just a shade darker than my lids, even though it looks quite dark here. It just is the perfect shadow to throw on for work right before a Zoom meeting. Takes a second to blend and I'm good to go. So this is probably my favorite shade, and that's Caramel. Interestingly, all the rest of the ones I've kept are colorful shades. I've decluttered so many Caviar sticks I've purchased because I just haven't been reaching for eyeshadow crayons as much, but I think that this formula really shines with a bright color because they're kind of sheer and so blendable. So I just find that when you're playing with color, they're like very foolproof. This is my other favorite. This is the shade Rush, and it is a violet with blue glitter, or maybe like a reddish violet. Yeah, a violet with blue glitter. You can see though, the base is incredibly sheer. I understand that some people really don't like that color because it's like almost translucent with the glitter, but I actually really like it. Next to Rush, I have the shade Orchid, which has a little bit of a stronger base pigment, but still a little sheer, much more of like a cool toned purple. Then I have the shade Mint, which is a minty blue. No, I would say it's more of like a cross between a blue and a green on the very light end of the spectrum. It's pretty. Lastly, we have Blue Ciel, which is incredibly sheer, and it's just like this reflective robin's egg blue. All of these have very sheer base pigments, so I understand that some people don't like that and they want like immediate impact that doesn't look patchy. But on me, for just a touch of color that's so blendable and easy to wear, I really like it. So that is everything I've tried from Laura Mercier. Let's talk about my favorites. Number one best product from Laura Mercier is the Tinted Moisturizer. I freaking love the way my skin looks right now. I don't look like I'm wearing makeup. On camera, in the mirror, it just looks like my skin looks bomb. I can't see any makeup texture anywhere. It feels like I'm wearing nothing. It's not too dewy. It's not too matte. It's just the perfect Goldilocks sort of light coverage foundation. Yeah, this is now my favorite base product. Next up, this Silk Cream Lipstick blew my mind. I'm wearing the shade New Prefer, which is super fun, but I'm going to look into any browns and neutrals and, you know, pinky reds that they have because this is the best lipstick formula I've ever tried. And my third favorite is the Caviar sticks. Love that these are super slippery and blendable because they're just really easy to apply. And they come in such a massive wide range of shades that I think that you can find anything that you like. And then the rest of the stuff they sent I think is really nice. It's just not my top favorites. Like the lip liner, I tend to prefer something that's a little bit more glidey and simultaneously has a little bit more of like a gel texture, kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury. And then I think this bronzer, you know, the bronzer is really beautiful. I think it looks skin-like. Uh-oh, I've got mascara on my cheek. I think it looks skin-like and really nice. It's got some radiance to it for sure. I love the way it looks in the crease. I don't think it's necessarily anything groundbreaking. Like I would be happy to continue using my Physicians Formula. So I will likely pass these to a friend since I've only used them twice. The concealer, if I could find my shade, I think I would really like. I'm actually surprised it's not doing the drying thing that it usually does to me. I only applied a tiny little bit, and I think that's the key. So even though the shade's a bit too light for me, and I'm kind of getting that like white ring under my eyes, I think I need to go to my local like blue Mercury counter down the street and see if I can try. This is 1N. I think 2N was too dark, but there's like something that's a cool toned one. And I'd like to try that and see if that works because this is really beautiful. And then the translucent powder is a cult favorite product. It's amazing, but I'm just not going to powder my face right now. I'm going to pass it to a friend. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you've tried these products or if I didn't review any of your favorite Laura Mercier products. Tell me what to try because between the Caviar sticks, that lipstick, and the tinted moisturizer, I am so impressed. Please hit the subscribe button for more easy makeup, no bullshit reviews, and hopefully I'll see you next time.